Welcome everyone. Hope you're enjoying the courses very much. Last day we discussed about the motor and show you how we can control a motor with the help of motor driver. But today I will show you how to control a servo. So do servo needs a motor driver? Well, the answer is no. The servo itself has the important things on it, so we don't need the motor driver here. Well, but if you notice here that for the motor we have only two pins, the positive and the negative. But for the servo there are three pins. I'll very soon get back to this, why there are three pins and how to control them. But let's see a video now. What you can see, a robot is drawing an apple. Isn't that nice? Like, if you ever think that if this robot can do all the homeworks for you, well, yeah, maybe that can, but to make kind of a robot like this, you also have to study very well. So we see that robot and it's completely made with servo. So the main usage of the servo is actually this kind of robot. So you see, it's worked like a perfect thing with very much accurate to draw an apple. So where it needs perfections and accuracy, and at these places we can use the servo motor. Even if we cannot make that kind of robot now, but at least we can make something like this. That's also made with a single servo. The servo I will show you just after a bit while later, and you can also do this kinds of project with the servo. So you see how servo works and where it's used. Now let's try to realize the working flow of the servo rather than the DC motors. So in the DC motor, you see the motor rotates 360 degrees as long as it gets the electricity supply. But for the servo, it will rotate according to the real world degree. That means from 0 to 180 degree you can control the servo anywhere at any point. So let's assume you want to control the servo from 0 degree to 90 degree. It can possible, and also if you want your servo to go from 0 to 180, then again back to 0, that's also possible. So I hope you understand what degree and how it will rotate with the servo. Now let's back to work. You know what servo is. Now it's time to do it with our hand. So the components we need to control the servo motor, here how it looks, an Arduino, breadboard, and some cables for connecting the servo. One thing I have to tell you about the servo, it's kind of a caution for you. You see there are a lot of small tiny pins inside the servos, and please do not move this with your hand. If you do so, then those tiny pinions will gonna break or damage and the servo won't work further. So that's a safety for you. And right now it's slightly left than the 90 degree. Once I connected the servo and upload the code, you will see what we can do with the servo. So we have seen the component list for connecting the servo. So this is the circuit diagram for the servo, and you can see there are three pins here. But if you remember that for the DC motor we have only two pins, but for the servo we have three, because the pin number 9 will controlling the degree of the servo. So let's connect. So the red wire will go to the positive, that means 5 volt of Arduino, and the black one will go to the ground of Arduino. And we have another pin left, so we're gonna connect that to the pin number 9 of Arduino. You can also connect that pin to 10, 11, 6 or 5. So that's pretty straightforward, the connection. Now let's implement this one. So now we are connecting our servo Here we have connected. So our white pin should be goes to the number 9 of Arduino, and the brown one should goes to the positive, that means 5 volt, and the black one will go to the ground. So that's our connection of the servo. So now it's time to upload the code. So here is our servo code, but one thing, if we going to compile this, you will get an error. So what we need to do, we need to add the library here. So we'll go to the sketch and include library, and you see the servo written here. So when we included the servo library, then the code is fine, and if we verify, and you will see no error this time. So once you are working with the servo, make sure you have added the servo library. Once we're done with the library, and now let's move on to the code. We have declared our variable servo test here, and we initialize the angle as 0 degree. So, and at line number 10, we have attached our servo to the pin number 9 of Arduino. The main part begins is in the loop section, which controlling the servo's angle. So you remember, we can control our servo from 0 degree to 180 degree. So that's what it's doing here. So we initialize that our servo will be at first 0 position. It will rotate up to 190 degree, and then it will again from 180 degree it will move to 0 degree. And if I write 10 here, this servo will move 10 degree increment and up to 180 degree, and at the same time this will do 10 degree decrement from 180 degree to 0 degree. And we added 2 delay in between the changes. So once we uploaded the code, you will see the change, what it's doing on the servo. It says done uploading, and you can see it's moving. So if you remember, that's the starting position, and it's move up to like 180, then again back to 0 degree. So what if I increases the delay? So if I make the delay to 0, 10 from 100, you will see the change. It's now working a lot faster than before. Your task is to control it like in this way. So you see, you need to move it like this fast. So that's all for today.